The last time I talked about EVO on this channel, it was effectively dead. Now, in between that time, Sony has purchased EVO, and I didn't talk about that because I honestly didn't really care, and we had some EVO online last year, but we haven't had a true EVO since EVO Japan 2020. So now, the EVO 2022 lineup has been revealed, and since it's basically a tradition now, I'm going to talk about it. Starting off, we have Street Fighter V Championship Edition. This will very likely be the last EVO Street Fighter V is at, because Street Fighter 6 is on the horizon, and, well, after what happened with Street Fighter 4, it's very unlikely that Capcom is going to be running any Street Fighter V tournaments after 6's release. I don't really know what to expect from it. The only real thing I'm wondering about it is, will Street Fighter V still be the final game of the night? Who knows? Traditions could be thrown out the window. I'm very interested to see how this develops. Next, to no one's surprise, is the most popular anime fighting game ever made, Guilty Gear Strive, and it's a well-deserved spot. We've got a lot of people playing this game. This is a lot of people's first fighting game. It's really not for everyone, especially people who liked older Guilty Gears, but I've said this so many times, it's done so much for new players and bringing people into the scene that I think overall it's a net positive. After that, we've got Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. This shocked me because I really didn't expect Mortal Kombat 11 to make the list. I didn't really know if it was still alive. I thought that NRS was going to be making Injustice 3 by now, but we haven't heard anything. Mortal Kombat is Mortal Kombat, and I'm thinking, you know, now that it's owned by Sony, like, when you think fighting games, what do you think? You think Street Fighter? You think Mortal Kombat, so it's a no-brainer that they would include Mortal Kombat here. Plus, I don't think we've gotten, like, a big offline tournament with, like, all of the new DLC, with, like, Fujin and the other characters, so that'll be definitely something interesting to see. After that, we have the reigning champion of EVO appearances, Tekken 7. This game has been at so many EVOs, it's crazy, and I don't think this is going to be the last EVO Tekken 7 is at, because it does not look like Bandai Namco are trying to make Tekken 8 anytime soon. But the game I'm 1,000,000% watching is the King of Fighters 15. If you haven't heard about the King of Fighters 15, you can watch my review. I'll link it right there. I love this game. It is fantastic. I think the top 8 for this game is going to be the most insane. Because, let me break it down for you. You got Japanese players playing. You got the Chinese players playing who've been playing forever. You got the Korean players who've been playing forever. You got the Mexican players who have been playing forever. You've got Brazilian players. You've got American players. KOF is going to be the in real life Street Fighter. We're going to have like every nationality ever in this tournament, and it's going to be crazy, and it's something I really look forward to. Next, we have another game I'm very excited to see, Melty Blood Type Lumina, and I coincidentally also have a review for that game. You can find it right here. If you've never heard of Melty Blood, it is by the same people who do Under Night In-Birth. They're basically just anime fighting games, although Melty Blood and Under Night are very different. They're made by the same people. Melty Blood is based off of Tsukihime by Type Moon, mostly known for Fate Grand Order, and Type Lumina is not doing the best right now, honestly. How do I put this? From what I've seen, most people who played old Melty Blood just went back to old Melty Blood, and there are people playing both, but it's either new fans playing this game or and maybe a little bit of old fans. And I think that's really because of the lukewarm reception to the shield mechanic and the moon drive mechanic. So I'm hoping that after this game gets its last 2 DLC characters, we can get a big shake-up with a bunch of new characters and some well-needed changes. Another game that's going to be fun to watch, maybe for different reasons, is Dragon Ball Fighterz. Dragon Ball Fighterz is in a really strange spot right now, mainly because of Android 21 Lab Coat. For those of you who don't know, Android 21 Lab Coat is crazy overpowered right now, and people are up, like, thinking, do we ban her, do we not ban her? most of the community is saying don't ban her, and if someone does ban her, you're clowns to all hell. I saw a Twitter thing today where some TO banned Labcoat 21, and the dude just got torn up for it. And I'm not gonna say if I agree or I disagree with it, but that's the state the game is in right now. A lot of people are calling it a party game because the meta is just so skewed towards certain characters. It's not looking great, especially because they did their whole big Dragon Ball Z Battle Power Hour video game event. And oh my god, what a waste of time that thing was, because we're here thinking we're gonna maybe hear about new Dragon Ball video games and stuff, maybe some new updates to Fighterz. We get Android 21 lab coat, no balance patch, that's it, and no announcement of any further characters. I'm hoping, if they're not going to do another season, we get Dragon Ball Fighterz 2, because it would be a very big missed opportunity for Bandai Namco and the Dragon Ball people for them to just let this game wither out. The next game on here is well deserving of its spot, although it might be a little controversial. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. It is a anime aesthetic Street Fighter 2. That's the best way I can describe it to you. Grand Blue Fantasy was so well received when it came out in early 2020. And everyone was playing it, it was going great, and then you know what happened in 2020, and then the game died because of it. And it's not in a great spot. Out of all the games on this list right now, Grand Blue Fantasy is in the worst spot, maybe tied with Melty Blood. Although I think Melty Blood has the legacy behind it to keep it alive. Grand Blue Fantasy is just a new IP. So I'm hoping that this EVO can breathe new life into Grand Blue Fantasy. And it's nice to see that this game that had a really bright future ahead of it, that was dashed, is getting its chance in the spotlight, because this may be the only time Grand Blue Fantasy gets its time to shine. And last but not least, speaking of games that have never gotten their time to shine, we have Skullgirls' second Encore. I don't know what to say. This game is getting a season pass now after it got its initial batch of characters like 2 decades ago. And, you know, I don't really want to say anything about this game because if you remember, Skullgirls was going to be in the original EVO 2020. And we know how that turned out. And then they did EVO Online, and we know how that turned out. I'm really nervous that Skullgirls is in the roster, I'm being honest, because it feels like something bad is gonna happen, because no matter what, you can count on this. If Skullgirls is involved, it's something catastrophic happens. Like, hands down, that's like a law of the universe. If Skullgirls is about to get its time to shine, some messed up shit happens. Hey, it's cool Skullgirls is gonna get some play. We get to see those DLC characters. I haven't really paid attention to this game in like 2 decades, so it'll be interesting to see how the meta developed. And just like that, we go through all of the EVO games. There's something missing here though. Definitely something missing. Can you point it out? Well, you're correct. Dungeon Fighter Online is not here, which raises some questions. It probably means that Dungeon Fighter Online isn't going to be coming out by the time EVO happens. So probably like a late August release for that game, or maybe they got snubbed overall. Who knows? And that's the EVO 2022 lineup. I'm crossing my fingers that nothing bad happens this time and the event actually happens. I'm a little bit weary now that Sony owns EVO. I don't think it's going to feel the same, and I don't think it's going to be the same. But, you know, we'll see. I'll give it a chance. But until then, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and, well, goodbye.